So I'm excited. I thought I would show you a couple basics. I don't know, some of you might be like sewing connoisseurs, is that a word? Sewing experts. But I thought I'd show you just a couple basics. So when you get your embroidery floss, let me go grab my embroidery floss. Embroidery floss has 6 strands as it comes. So hopefully will show up well. Sure. All right, so this is DMC thread. As I debated about what kind of materials we should use for class, there were a lot of cheap brands out there, but this doesn't tangle as much as that cheap stuff does. And it's really frustrating when it tangles. So anyway, as you get it in the mail, open it up, and there'll be a little tail. And if you just gently hold it and pull on that tail, it will come out. Occasionally it gets all tangled up on the inside. Anyway, so that's how I get it out. So then if I'm gonna clip a strand, I bought these cute little scissors. Aren't they adorable? You can just use regular scissors though. So as far as lengthwise, you want to go as much what is manageable, so you're not having to knot and start over, but you also don't want it to get tangled. So however you want. I don't know if you can't see that, but we'll just go about that far. So this is from my, I don't know, not quite up to my shoulder if I'm holding it with my finger. So on this, you have 6 little strands that make up the string. You can use the whole thing if you want. I feel it looks kind of bulky. It's easier to manage if it's less. So you can choose to do in half or in thirds. So half would be 3 strands. So you just kind of pull it apart. So you have 3 strands over here and 3 strands over there. So you can do those 2. You can do 3, so then it's half and half, or you can do it into 3 pieces and do 2 and 2 and 2. Depends on how thin you want your thing. But for now, just split it in half. And then what I do is I start it, and notice the floss will start to twist. To make it easiest, I kind of pinch where it's split, smooth it on both sides, and then keep splitting, continuing the process, split it, and then this untwisting is really important. Otherwise you end up with a big knotted mess. And then you pull at the end, and if you get close enough, then you just finish it off. Okay, so now I have 2 pieces. Again, if this is super basic, don't worry about it. I just want to make sure we all get on the same page. Okay, so the end in threading your needle, some people are more skilled at threading needles than others. It helps if they're all the same length. So this one is different lengths. You can do it, and you can always lick it. That's what I tend to do. All right, so I don't have any fuzzy afros on these threads. I don't know how close I can put. So those are all nice and tight. If there's little afros sticking out, that's gonna be hard to get in your needle head. Here's needle. And what I'd like to do is I like to put it in my hand and then pinch it closed and then open it into the needle. So get the head there and open it into the needle. And then it's all in. And then pull it through. All right, if you're worried about pulling it out, you can knot it at the end and then use that, which is basically a full thread anyway, or a full string anyway. What most people do once you are taller than 4 feet is you tie the bottom and you leave the tail to change lengths as needed. Okay. Let's tie a knot. So I like to double knot at the end so it doesn't pull through the fabric. Depending on how porous your fabric is, depends on if it's like super tight, then just one little knot is fine. But most have a little bit of give to it, so your knot's going to come like through the fabric. So it's helpful to do a little extra. So to do a knot, I like to wrap it around my hand, wrap it around my finger, and I have this little tail, and I just roll the tail inside and pick it up. And make sure I get all 3 of the tails. All right, notice one of my tails is lagging behind. So pick up that extra little tail. And now they are ready to finish pulling. So I'll do that again. I make a loop, and then I bring the tail through. And then this is the tricky part, is getting the 2 knots to be in the same spot. If you don't, if you miss and they're next to each other, just make a 3rd knot and bring them all together. And then you get to start stitching. So 2 other things is if you get a knot and how to tie off at the end. So let me show tie off at the end. All right, so I'm gonna make a cute little French knot, which you are going to learn. And now, look at my back. It's all fun and exciting. All right, so now we have this. I don't have a lot nearby. Here, I'll make one more knot so then I have a little bit back behind here. This is a French knot, which is an intentional looking knot. All right, so now I have 2 knots, and what that gave me was a little bit of area back here that I can stick my needle up in. So if I'm next to the edge, which makes it a little bit hard, but if you come up in between that little spot underneath there, I just went too far. So I'm gonna do that again. And you wanna leave a little loop. So there's a little loop left. What you do is run your needle through it and then let the loop come down. Now my tail from the other stitch is kind of caught up in there, so I can release that. So I'm gonna pull, and that's tight. Now that is probably good enough. I like to have 2 knots just to make it double safe. So I do one more time. Catch the loop with my, and pull it tight. And that's how you end it. So most of the time as you're coming back, especially if your string is long, you're gonna notice that starts happening. That's funny, it just turned orange. All right, so you'll notice that twisting starts happening. You have to watch out for that because then that will knot up your string. So to combat that, you just twist your needle the opposite direction until that doesn't happen anymore. Ta-da! If it does happen, so if I keep twisting, and I have this knot, most of the time when you get a knot, it'll be because this twists more. So I'm going to create a knot just so you can see what's happening. So most of the time it's that kind of thing, but messier. So what you're going to want to do is deconstruct it, figure out what is the end loop, and then pull the opposite spot with your needle or with your finger. So I want to pull this spot to get that head out of the loop. Okay, and so now I've undone the knot and I can twist my needle to make it flat again. So those are your tips. Makes it simple. We have threading the needle, or splitting the thread, threading the needle, undoing knots and tying off. So that's just kind of basics to get you going. And can't wait to teach you more stitches. So hope you have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you guys later.